Yep.
Welcome back, good people, and a special welcome to my brother who visited for Thanksgiving and had the perfect reaction to seeing this thing for the first time. As a brief recap, I spotted this airplane at my local airport. I sent several letters to anyone who had the same name as the owner, and one actually arrived on his doorstep as intended. A response came via Facebook Messenger several months later. I offered help getting it flying again, and as more time slipped by without any action, I did the math on what it could take and what I could lose, but then just got bold one night and offered to buy the thing outright. You see, life had just gotten in the way and he was doing his absolute best with the time and resources that he had. Not everyone works at the airport and has a small army of airplane nerds as friends like I do. First of all, Chris is an exotic car dealer who also happens to be a 1971 V35B owner and a CFI. This is his 1997 Porsche 911 Turbo, also known as the 993 Turbo, that will soon be for sale on Bring a Trailer. Leave a comment if you'd like more information, and let's help him fund his own aviation journey. I'm not going to trick you into sticking around here for car content, but I find that aviation people are also car people, and pet people, and motorcycle people, but let's just stop kidding ourselves. We're all here because we want to see each other succeed, grow, and share. We loaded up at my home and then took the trek to Eagle Neck, 1 Golf Alpha Zero. That makes sense. Yeah, Scott Perdue, he has a YouTube channel called Flywire, and he does a ton of Bonanza stuff, and he actually went through that procedure and kind of showed it on video too. Of course, he's got a 24 volt system. I've got, yeah, it's real fast. Yeah, it's crazy how fast it is.
So, you pull the breaker, switch it to the down position.
Yep.
Crank it down, and then you do not crank it back up manually.
Right.
And so you can raise it back up with the motor.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. I'm gonna take this shot right here, Bonanza and 993.
One flat six to another.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. That's true. That's a good point. 1963 P35 Bonanza. Yeah, I got the long range tanks. We've
fuel system.
Yeah.
The early ones are just a nightmare.
With the aux tank, yeah, I saw that on the B site. The training was just like, wow. Well, that's it. There you have it. We flew the Dr. Killer. Thanks for watching. Oh, you're still here. Well, this is awkward. Okay, fine. I'll give you some more details. So here's how it went. Left Eagle Neck, stayed over the airfield just to get a feel of the airplane. First time out of annual, first time I was flying that airplane, first time Chris had flown the airplane. We wanted a landing spot beneath us if we needed to. And within just a few minutes, we were at 7,500 feet, circling over Eagle Neck. The airplane felt just fine. Controls were nice and balanced, well rigged. Engine made great power. We were seeing 180 knots over the ground because we had a 20 knot tailwind up at 7,500 feet. And so I was really happy about that. So the next step was to launch directly over to Hinesville, but we realized at our speeds and the distance to LHW, we'd be there in something like 5 minutes, which wouldn't give us enough time to set up, brief a landing. So we decided to do just a little bit of air work before we headed out to to Hinesville. Steep turns, easy. I think the airplane feels so controllable. It does what you ask it to do. And steep turns were not a problem. We went to 50-degree angle of bank, created a little bit more space just maneuvering the airplane out over the Eagle Neck area, out over the coast of Savannah, and finally decided, well, we've had enough time to play. Let's slow down, go down, and do my first landing. So you're going to see one of those landings. And I think the learning curve was really steep for me at this point because I'm used to just grabbing the throttle on the arrow and slowly pulling it back as you land. This has a twist type control or vernier control. So on the flare, rolling that out rapidly just wasn't baked into my brain. So I floated for a little bit longer than I would have liked to, but landing number 1, huge success. Wasn't the smoothest approach due to atmospheric conditions, but we did the best that we could. Took a minute in the FBO to rebrief plan number 2, which would be going back out to the test area, practice area, and doing the stall sequence on the Bonanzas. And we took off, stayed in the pattern for 2 laps, full flap landing, no flap landing. And I think just my comfort landing the airplane increased every single time. So on the way out, tested the autopilot. It worked well. I think I'm missing a piece of hardware to be able to do GPSS or GPS steering, and we're going to look into that, rebuild that part. The HSI is also not getting a signal from the GNS 530, and the 530 also has a dead battery, so I'm looking for help on those things. If you've got any insight, please let me know. I'll do an avionics upgrade at some point, but I am not made of money, and I'm pretty happy with where we are right now. Just minor tweaks to the airplane. But heading hold and altitude hold, perfectly fine. Stalls, a little bit more aggressive than in the Piper Arrow, I can tell you that much. It was very fun to see the sequence build up, slowing the airplane down in configuration for landing, and then having that break, that sharp break, staying coordinated but still having a little bit of a wing drop. That was very eye-opening. If you read the Echobar book on flying the Bonanzas, Echobar actually makes comment of this drum beat that happens on the tail. You feel this buffeting happening, and I picked up on that even before the stall warning went off. So that buffet, the sound of the buffeting, was exactly what I needed to know that we were about to get into a tricky situation, so the nose needs to be lowered. Recovery was fine. You'll practice that in your private pilot's class. It's practically the same as any other airplane. Nose down, put some power in, and try to avoid a secondary stall. That all went well. Flaps up stalls went well. And then more maneuvering over the area. In the future, we're going to keep doing some of those maneuvers that will hone my skills. I'll eventually work on a commercial rating. Not in any rush to do that, but because I've got the time and the type of airplane I'd like to be flying, really tight control, in controlled airspace, taking friends along with me, I'm going to put myself through those situations to make sure I'm as good a pilot as I could possibly be. So we'll get back flying that airplane here pretty soon. The weather's perfect today. Why am I not flying today? Well, holiday parties. Holiday parties are amazing. I love holiday parties. I'll go to every holiday party I'm invited to, but they get in the way of flying. I'm just gonna have to be okay with that today. Anywho's, let me put some more footage on the screen about what we were doing yesterday. But then other than that, it's, back to the grind, working on the Diamond here pretty soon, getting that finished and flying and sold so I can afford to pay rent. Yeah, that's becoming an issue, so we got to work on that. And then the Arrow goes down into annual, and I'm looking forward to walking you all through what's happening on the annual for the Arrow. A few upgrades, nothing crazy, stuff that you can do to your small airplane with your maintenance professionals if you have the time and a bit of a budget. So we're going to make some tweaks, test out some new engine monitoring capability. Pretty modern setup. I'm really excited to see how that goes. You're going to see what that looks like in the next few weeks. And then we fly, build time, build hours, go see family. Looking forward to going to New Orleans to visit my brother who's wrapping up a medical residency. Looking forward to hopping down to the Bahamas at some point in this airplane that's got 80 gallons, 74 gallons of usable fuel. Trying to get home to the Caribbean. I want to fly my airplane in the St. Kitts and see all my friends and show them that the little kid that sketched airplanes in the back of his exercise books every single day actually went out, and I'm doing it, right? Yeah, immigrants are cool people. Happy to call myself one. Keep loving each other. Tell someone you love them, and we'll see you here again soon. Awesome. That's awesome.
Look at that view.
A bit of a climb. Yeah, this is gonna be nice.
Don't see any traffic out here.
Yep, no.
So smooth.
All right, what do we want to do next?